Shadow Binders is back in stock on shopclownfish.com. That's shopclownfish.com. And now on with the show. Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to do another Masters of the Universe Revelation video. Because it just keeps getting better and better.
Yep, it does.
So in this video, we're going to talk about a recent interview with Tiffany Smith on, I think it was Newsweek, where she talks about Andra and her audition, and she had to say something very curious during her audition, and by God, we joked about this happening. We joked about the possibility of Andra becoming the next He-Man and or champion, with Teela becoming the next sorceress. Joked.
Right. It's funny, I actually saw this interview and I didn't read it because I'm like, I don't care. And now I wish I would have read it because I saw it a couple days ago.
It was buried in the middle of it, and we're gonna talk about this because this is pure speculation. I want people to realize that because
I think you've already said that a couple times.
It doesn't matter how many times we say it. People are like, well, Clownfish TV and the technicality, blah, 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 blah. No, it's pure speculation on our part. We joked when we did the review of Masters of the Universe Revelation. We're like, what are they gonna do? Because they established the He-Man just being one of many champions as a mantle. We're like, oh, what are they gonna do? Make Teela the sorceress and make Andra the new He-Man? Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, because well, you know, because King Grayskull is black now, and so she's black, so that clearly means they're related.
Obviously, yeah.
I mean, yeah, I know, right? That's just, you know, because aren't they all related over there in Eternia?
Yeah, right. Because that means Clamp Champ's actually her dad.
That's right.
Yeah.
So because you know, there's you know, just like any redhead characters related, you know.
Yeah, we were joking on Twitter last night about how Star Wars, believe it or not, before the prequels came out, people were speculating that Samuel L. Jackson was going to play Lando's dad.
Right.
Because like, oh, we got another black person in Star Wars, so clearly he has to be Lando's father.
And The Rise of Skywalker, same thing. We had that new character, which I have not seen, so I can't remember what the hell her name was. And they were like, oh, she's his daughter, you know? And it was the same people who yell about, you know, diversity, inclusion, and all that, but they're like the first ones their go-to is, well, they're related. It's like, oh my God.
Only one black family. Well, actually, they did an SNL skit that was kind of funny with Donald Glover where there was like 3 black people in the room.
Yeah, well, yeah.
Anyway, we're going to talk about this because I am hoping to God we are wrong about this. And again, we were joking about it.
We were joking.
And there is some evidence to support that possibly, maybe this is happening. Maybe this is another slip because it seems like the people working on this show are not very good at keeping secrets. We know Orko's, spoiler, Orko's death, Kevin Smith slipped up on that. They had to go back and re-edit the video.
Well, now he's making comments like, oh, well, no one's really ever truly dead. So, which is the other thing people said. They're like, oh, it's probably going to be that Teela's going to be a sorceress because she has the power to fix it, as they said. And then suddenly everybody's back to life, you know, et cetera, et cetera. Everything's undone. It was all a dream in a snow globe.
It was all a dream in a snow globe. So we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We're over 226,000 subs.
Woo-hoo!
Thank you for the support. We had a couple people send us the article. And yeah, like you, I didn't read it at first. And then I skimmed through it. And it was like, okay, they've got this interview with Tiffany Smith, who plays Andra. And she said during the audition.
Now, she could be trolling too.
She could be trolling. I mean,
we're putting it out there. She could be trolling too. But it's just funny because the reason everybody sent it to you was because we had actually said this.
We had
a couple times. And we're like, oh, please don't let that be the case. We're like, oh, they wouldn't do that. Go ahead, continue.
Because that would be very current year. Like,
it would be really predictable and stupid.
It would be. This is a thing that has been happening a lot in the last 2, 3, 4 years where, you know, to stick it to the patriarchy, we usually take a white male character and race and gender swap them and have the replacement come in as a black female. That is a joke. It's kind of become a meme at this point.
And it's insulting. I mean, it's insulting to me as a woman that, you know, you have to gender bend characters all the time. And I'm sure it's insulting to black women that they're constantly being like, oh, we're just going to make this character a black woman now for, you know, check boxes and clout. I mean, I'm sure they're not happy about it.
I mean, we will. Again, this is a joke, but just given that this is Netflix, this is current year, and that this show obviously is not about He-Man, and people are like, well, Kevin Smith said He-Man, there are 2 He-Man versus Skeletor fights, there's a big fight.
Well, I think there still is, because I don't think Adam's dead.
Well, people are saying, but which He-Man?
No, yeah, well, that's, they're going to kill Adam again, or Adam's going to decide he doesn't want to be He-Man anymore. So he can,
He has to be the new king, because they'll off Randor.
Right.
He has to be the king, and then they need a new champion.
And now so the new champion, because they kept referring to it as champion. And
it's a mantle.
Everybody knew Teela was sorceress.
Yes.
It's going to be sorceress. Everybody knew that. It's been established, well established. I'm waiting for them to be like, well, if you're a real fan, you'd know that. It's like, we do. I'm preemptively saying, hey, guess what? She's going to be sorceress, because sorceress is what she was always supposed to be. So when they pull that shit in a few months, we'd be like, nope, dumbass, we already said that. But anyway, continue.
So anyway, Tiffany Smith said during her audition, she said, I remember at the end of the audition, I had to say the iconic I have the power line. So I pulled my lightsaber off the wall, because I have 2, and raised up over my head and said the line. And she thought it went badly, but I thought, well, maybe they're doing it as a joke. Like, oh, hey, just since we got you here and we're already, you're doing the audition, why don't you just go ahead and say I have the power, because it'd be funny. No, she said I had to say it. Mm-hmm. Like that was going to be part of the role.
And just so you know that she's like a major uber geek, I have 2 lightsabers on my wall.
Well, that's cool.
I'm a huge Star Wars fan too, and I don't have lightsabers on my wall. Does that mean like I'm not as big a fan as she is?
You're not.
Even though they named a character after me, but
she was. I think she was on some geek show or something. Somebody said I've never heard of her before.
I don't know who she is either, but I think they said that she was, because she had talked to the one interviewer before.
Yeah. So I wouldn't have thought anything of this rumor except for the fact that it's like, why would they have her say I have the power unless she gets the power? Mm-hmm. Now, could it be a joke? Like, hey, just say why we got you here, lift up the sword, just say it just because it'd be funny. Could it be a trolling? Could it be...
Let's say at the interview and see the man babies lose their shit.
Yeah, exactly. Could it be that, she uses the sword, but she doesn't actually become the next champion, but she has to use it possibly.
I hope so.
Possibly.
I hope it's one of those things. Yeah. I really, truly hope that it's one of those things, because we did this as a joke, and they'd be like, oh, you lied, you're wrong. I'm like, no, we never said it was a serious thing. We just said jokingly, like, what are they going to do next? Ha, 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 wink, wink. Joke. Oh, my God.
Yeah.
Don't do that. Just don't.
We said the way things are going with this show, it would not shock us if they're like, oh, yeah, since they're obviously making Teela and Andra the central characters of the show, and they're building up the whole champion thing, like the sorceress has her champion, there were champions before He-Man. Oh yeah, they'll make Andra the next champion, mm-hmm. and then Adam will quit being He-Man and go rule Eternia.
Mm-hmm, something like that, yeah. And then there's the sorceress, and then the new Andra, which means man in Greek, will be going off on their own together, happily.
Yeah, let's talk about that. Because that was something you mentioned to me.
Well, other people have mentioned in other places. I've seen it on Twitter and stuff.
That Andra, or andras, means man in Greek. Now, this was a pre-existing character, from before they used the Andra name. But it is kind of curious, because they could have created a brand new character with a brand new name, because she basically is a new character. She doesn't have anything to do with the original version of her. And it's not like they had I don't even think
so why keep the name?
Why keep the name unless it actually means something? Again, complete tinfoil Orko hat, Skeletor hood, don't know. But it would be the ultimate kick to the balls for He-Man fans. Not just be like, oh yeah, we barely had He-Man in the show. But by the way, we're going to replace He-Man. We're going to swap He-Man out for a black woman just because we can, because it's current year.
Outfit, if they do that, what kind of outfit are they going to give her? Probably, some full coverage, whatever.
It'll probably just look like, like full body armor.
It won't be
no
like
boobs.
it won't be like a bikini. They're not gonna give her the loincloth.
No, she's not going to have like the He-Man logo or the cross on each boob. Or
Oh my God, that'd be beautiful.
That would be.
That.
No, they'll make sure she's like very, very well covered, I'm sure.
Okay, guys, just for shits and giggles, plus it would be fun to troll Twitter. Why don't you guys go, those of you that are inclined to art, why don't you go out and make your imagined version of Andra as whatever they're going to call her?
Andra!
Yeah, I know, I joked about that because her last name's Raw. I'm like, Andra! Why don't you go ahead and make that? And you know what? Have at it, because that'll piss off Twitter more than anything. That'll be just gloriously awful, and it would just make them so mad. It would be worth every moment. So if you're bored and need something to do, there you go. There's a challenge for you. Anyway.
Again, this is all circumstantial evidence, but given the way the show's gone, and given that even if you try to correct, they're not going to give you a straight answer, because we know how they keep dodging stuff. They've mismarketed the show right out of the gate. And it's interesting, there were interviews out there with some of the voice actors, and Chris Wood, in one of the interviews, I think it was on comicbook.com, he sounded very kind of not happy about how He-Man has been relegated to the back burner. Because I think he thought, oh my God, I get to play He-Man. This is going to be great. And it's like, oh yeah, you're going to be in like 2 episodes.
Right.
And we'll have you come back and we'll kill you again. And then you get to be, Pussy Adam.
Right. Well, no. Yeah, Pussy Adam, because now the Teela and Andra have the penises. That's right.
Yeah, they have the power now.
I love it. I mean, and I don't really love it. I'm being sarcastic. I just get really tired of women being portrayed as basically dudes, because they're better dudes than dudes. And I'm like, but I don't want to be a better dude than a dude. I want to be a strong woman, because that's what I am. And I'm tired of being told that things that make me different than a man are bad. I'm like, if you're embracing women and you're trying to raise women up, why is the answer the go-to to make them take everything that makes them a woman away to make them more like a man? At that point, you're doing the absolute opposite.
Yeah.
Because women have a lot of strengths that men don't have too. And, you're by taking that away for these characters, you're making them another man. And you're actually doing more damage than you're helping. Why can't we just have a woman that's a woman that's proud of women and can kick ass on her own, still be a woman? I don't understand it.
I don't know. It's interesting. You watch these interviews with the voice actors, and speaking of like ass, it used to be that Buffy was kind of, everybody look at Buffy and be like, oh, she's an ass.
But she was definitely a girl.
Girl, yeah.
Yeah, she's Buffy. She was like the cheerleader and everything else. That was the joke.
Yeah, I mean, that was the joke. And Sarah Michelle Gellar now, she seems to really be getting off on trolling people, because she was actually cutting off.
God, she's relevant again.
She was cutting off Chris Wood during the interviews, kind of like, oh, it's all about me now. Haha. And he was like, you could tell he was not happy about it, but he also probably isn't allowed to say anything about it. Kind of like, yeah, I get to be He-Man in like 2 episodes of the He-Man show. Mm-hmm. That's
and
not
apparently
what I signed
in the next half too, there's a big battle. There's lots of battle. I am
dies
sure.
Again.
Yeah, that's probably what's happening. I am sure, or he just passes it on so he doesn't die or something. I am sure that He-Man and Skeletor are going to battle in the next season, which is actually the half. I hate that they call it seasons. God, it annoys me. I'm 100% sure of it. I pointed out as soon as we saw the first half that they keep saying about it killed him twice. And I'm like, is he talking about this point? Because he's not dead at the end of the season. He's just wounded. He is not dead. And I'm like, they're going to probably make him come back as He-Man, and Teela's going to take the power for Sorceress, or Sorceress is going to use her power to heal him or something. Yeah. And then they're going to have a big battle. And if they kill him, the second time they kill him is in the second half, because he's not dead at the end of the first season. And he said I got to kill him twice.
He's very badly burned.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. So I'm like, is he going to die again?
I don't know. Or is he, I mean, people were speculating he's going to, take over for Randor. He's going to become King of Eternia.
Or they're going to have Teela and Andra be the king / sorceress / champion of Eternia.
Oh, God.
And it'll be the 2 queens ruling.
The queens.
Ruling.
Slay Queen.
Yeah.
They should have just called it. They should just call it Masters of the Universe, Slay Queen, Slay.
They should have. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they're clearly the 2 leads of this show. And, they're following their story. And if this is all about Teela becoming the sorceress, then yeah, she's going to need a champion. And if Adam can die forever, that'll be their excuse. Like, oh, we can't have Adam be He-Man, because if he gets killed, he's going to like die. So
That's
just
right.
go
As opposed to just die.
Just die. Yeah, we can't just die.
Well, he
We're
said he
gonna
died. Because he said he killed him twice.
Okay.
So he did die. So it's die.
Die. We can't have him die. So Adam, you just go be the king. You know, we got this. The women got this. You don't have to be He-Man anymore.
Because we're better men than He-Man.
We're better. And then technically Kevin Smith would be lying because Teela doesn't become He-Man, but Andra does.
Well, that's why he's like, well, Teela doesn't get the sword. That was the funny thing. He got mad about that. We never said she did.
We never said
that
she
was
got
one thing that was hilarious.
She got half the sword.
But even that, it was hilarious because he's like, well, she doesn't get the sword. I'm like, we never said she did get the sword.
Look, the point being, He-Man is going to be sidelined and or permanently retired. I think the whole purpose of this series...
You say series, I say shit show. I mean...
This shit show, which is not canon, by the way, and they actually bring up... it's funny because Chris Wood brings up multiple times that this is not a sequel to He-Man.
But that's so funny because when they presented it at PowerCon, they kept saying, and other times in interviews, it is like takes place right after the original show, and it's for the fans which would imply it was a sequel because it takes place right after the original show. And I know that Mark Hamill also said, "Well, it's not really a sequel." And when he said that, I was like,
Yeah, this was interesting. Sarah Michelle Gellar, that's an homage to the original. It's a modern day homage. And Chris Wood, who plays He-Man, it's not a sequel. It really is like it's continuing from where the show ended, but it's
That's
just
a
elevated.
sequel.
Yeah.
That would be a sequel.
Yeah, but they're backpedaling on that. They were marketing again. It is absolutely a bait and switch. Nostalgia marketing. It was, oh, He-Man's back after 30 some years, guys. Come watch the He-Man show.
But they could even been honest and said it was a Teela show. And people would have been like, okay, we haven't done a show about Teela. That makes sense because Teela was always important and very popular character. But then this isn't even a Teela show because this isn't even Teela. This is some bitch masquerading as Teela. This is Sarah Michelle Gellar's bad voice acting masquerading as Teela.
She doesn't even fit the character design.
And it's done, but yeah, it's 3 dudes, behind these choices. And then they and then they fix Teela to make her a strong woman.
Her.
I'm like, you know what? Next time, actually talk to strong women first. Maybe talk to female He-Man fans first before you just go and change a character for strong women. I'm so tired of it. They keep projecting these women as they're dudes. They're dudes. I'm sorry. Stop.
I'd say dude looks like a lady, but no.
He doesn't. Looks like a dude.
Looks like a dude.
I'm just like, I get tired of these people, and it's usually men, making these characters for women that are supposed to be strong women when they have absolutely no idea what the hell they're talking about. Just stop.
Anyway, hopefully this was just a troll or slip or something, that this is not an indication of things to come. Because if you thought the backlash was severe during the first part where you sidelined He-Man for most of the show, if you outright replace He-Man, God help you. Mm-hmm. That's all I can say, because the shit will hit the fan massively. Like, you have no idea. Maybe they do. Maybe that's why everybody's laying low now. Because they know it's not going to go well.
I don't know. I'm hoping we don't have to talk about this stuff anymore. I'm tired of talking about it. We've already, me and everybody else have already said everything we have to say. The downvote, the ratio on his video proves that it's more than just 5,000 to 10,000 people. It wasn't even in the top 10 after the first couple of days. I haven't checked it lately, but it was being beat by flipping Coco Melon. I'm like, what's that tell you?
The fact that a channel of our size, and we're not really that big of a channel, is pulling hundreds of thousands of views per video.
Most of them upvotes. Shows that a lot of people are really pissed off. No, Kevin, if Netflix told you it was only 5,000 to 10,000 people, they're covering their own ass. Did they say that, or is he just saying they said that?
I don't know. And it might be Netflix doesn't care, but I guarantee you Mattel does. Because
Mattel, they're bragging they did it on purpose. We're queer baiting on purpose. We didn't think anything would come of that. And I'm like, what the hell? Where have you been?
Yeah.
Why did you think that was a good idea?
Yep. So we will see what happens. Again, we joked. We hope it's not true, but this doesn't give me a lot of confidence in part 2. So we're going to wrap it up. Mm-hmm. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.